Everything you've ever been told about money is bullshit. You've probably heard it all before: go to school, get a job, save for retirement, and eventually, maybe if you're lucky, you can enjoy life when you're 70. But here's the truth. It's not about working harder or waiting to save money to retire. It's about breaking free from the comfort that holds you back. You're not stuck because of the system. You're stuck because you've been trained to play it safe. You've been sold the idea of security, the paycheck, the job, the illusion that you're in control. But here's the truth. That comfort and that fear is what holds you back. What if I told you that the things that you're clinging on to, the comfort, the paycheck, the stability, are the very things stopping you from living the life you've always dreamed of? Are you ready to stop settling and start taking control? Because you already know the system is stacked against you. The question is, what the fuck are you going to do about it? Most people, they do nothing. Most people, they just sit around, bitching about how life is unfair, waiting for something to change. What's going to change? Nothing. Nothing changes unless you change. You're in control. Most people waste their lives thinking if I just work harder, make more money, that I'll finally be set. And that's a lie. The only thing that transforms your situation is bold, relentless, and unstoppable action. And I know this because I've been there. I spent 13 years in the Coast Guard, and I'll say this. I respect the hell out of it. It made me disciplined, sharp, and mentally unbreakable. It provided for me and my family, and it gave me a future. But at some point, I realized something. I didn't own my life. Those deployments hit harder than anything else. I was gone for months at a time, missing birthdays, anniversaries, and all the important moments with my family. I was always away from the people that I loved, and that started to feel like a loss I couldn't ignore anymore. I was in service to a job and a paycheck, but I wasn't in service to my own life and my future, or my family. How many of you have ever felt like you are working your life away? Or working for something that doesn't really belong to you? Like you're building someone else's dream but not your own. That's where I was. I was sacrificing my family. I missed holidays, birthdays, and important moments with the kids. I wasn't there for my wife when she needed me. Every single day I was trading precious time with them for the illusion of safety. Is that the life you want? Trading the moments that matter for a paycheck? Is that the life that excites you? Because it sure as hell didn't excite me. I knew if I kept going down this path that I was going to miss out on everything that actually mattered to me. My kids would grow up without me, my wife would grow more distant, and I wasn't going to live with that. So I made the hardest decision of my life. I walked away. And people lost their fucking minds. I'm talking like minds were blown. You're so close to 20 years. You only have 7 left. Just stick it out for the pension. I didn't give a fuck. Fuck the pension. Fuck the paycheck. Because I thought if I stayed for a paycheck, I was going to lose myself. The thought of staying just for a paycheck was more terrifying than leaving the Coast Guard itself. The idea that my entire future, my family's future, could be wiped out if something happened to me. If I got sick, hurt, what if something prevented me from working? That fear became my fucking fuel. I wasn't about to let my life be controlled by a job, and I wasn't about to let my family's future ride on someone else's rules. And you shouldn't either. Stop letting fear own you. Stop taking advice from people who have settled for mediocrity. People that don't even have an understanding of what you're trying to accomplish. They can't grasp it because they've never lived it. They live in fear. No one other than you has to live the life you're living, so man the fuck up and take control of it because you only got one life to live. If you're here, it's because you already know something's wrong. You've heard the same tired bullshit your whole life. So what are you fucking waiting for? Why are you wasting your entire life making someone else rich while you barely scrape by? There's a better way. You don't have to wait until you're old and broken to finally be free. You can start right now. Again, I know this because I did it. Now, I didn't grow up around money. We weren't poor, but I wasn't handed shit either. I followed the script. College, job, save money, retirement. But it became obvious real quick that none of that was going to get me where I wanted to be. So I had to do things differently. My first business, a daycare. It wasn't glamorous, nothing flashy, but it made money. And I don't want to take all the credit. My wife was the driving force behind it. She had the passion. She had the drive. She had the knowledge. And together we built something that actually worked. She gave me, my partner, my wife, she gave me the courage I needed to take the leap. From there, we did it again, adding more businesses, creating more income streams, and ultimately gaining more control over our future. That's how we escaped the rat race. And that's where the real lessons started. The lessons that I'm about to share with you didn't come from a fancy degree or some guru. They came from ancient wisdom that's been around for thousands of years. Wisdom that still holds the keys to building real wealth today. But before you get worried, let me reassure you. This isn't a religious podcast. I'm not here to preach or tell you to pray your way to wealth, okay? But the principles that I'm talking about come from some of the oldest books in history, books that have stood the test of time. The book of Proverbs, the book of Ecclesiastes, and the book of Job. These aren't just religious texts. They are blueprints for living a life of purpose, taking risks and building true wealth. You don't have to be religious to understand the wisdom. Proverbs says, "The diligent prosper." And it's not about working hard, it's about working smart. That's exactly what I'm here to show you. Ecclesiastes tells us a man's labor is his reward, but that labor has to be purposeful. You can't spend your whole life grinding for someone else's dream. In the book of Job, Job teaches us about perseverance. When things get tough, you keep going, learning from the adversity and never losing sight of your goal. These aren't just ancient stories. These are principles that apply to you today in modern time. Principles that will help you create the wealth and life you deserve. If you're ready to make a change, you don't have to do this alone. There's tested wisdom here to guide you, and that's what we're going to dive into. Let's take action right now. Welcome to the Where's Your Money podcast. I'm Andy, and this podcast is about breaking free from the lies, getting real about money and sharing the truth. No fluff, no gimmicks, just real strategies that work. In this podcast, we're going to break it down, how to escape the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, how to build income streams that don't rely on your time, how to rewire your mindset to win, how to take full control of your money and your life. Like and follow this podcast, share it with anyone who you think needs to hear this. Family, friends, coworkers, anyone who comes to mind. Let's get uncomfortable, make real moves, and grow together. This is the Where's Your Money podcast, and our first episode next week is going to be on how to escape the 9-to-5 grind. So come check us out, and let's get to work.